Hi, and welcome to this session on setting up the gradebook and setting up grade schemes. Grade schemes allow you to specify the ranges for letter grades within a course. It's a way of organizing users' performance on grade items into levels of achievement. Typically, grade schemes are set up for letter grades. To get started, we'll select Schemes from the Grades tool. And after selecting schemes, you'll be brought to your schemes list. And if this is the first time that you've used grade schemes, you may only be presented with a percentage scheme. But here we're going to create a new one, and so we're going to click on a new scheme. Okay, and the first thing that we need to do is give this scheme a name. In this example, I am going to use letter grades to create my grade scheme, so I'm going to call this letter grades. If you want to give that a short name, you can. I'm going to go ahead and skip that. And we're going to come down to symbol. You'll notice that by default it only gives you 3 ranges. But I might be creating a grade scheme based on plus and minus letter grade scale. So I'm going to need to add a number of other ranges. You can do that pretty easily by coming down to add ranges. If you click that once, it'll add 1 range, as we had 1 in the input box, but we do have the ability to go ahead and specify the number of ranges that we'd like to add. I might add 8 and click add ranges. And now we have 12. Okay, so this first column here is where we specify the symbol that we'd like to use. In this case, the symbol is going to be the letter grade. And you'll notice that range number 1, starts by default at 0. So this is going to be your lowest value. So in this case, I am going to put an F in for symbol. It's going to start at 0 and go to 59. My next symbol will be the next lowest value, which would be a D-, and that would start at 60 and say go to 63. I'm just using arbitrary numbers here. This is going to be based upon whatever you have in your syllabus for your grading scheme. The next item would be a D, and we'll go from 64 to 66. And so on and so forth. So I can continue to build this out. Until I get all the way to an A. And we have our grade scheme. Now, we do have the ability to associate a color with a symbol. Some folks choose to take advantage of this. You are limited in the number of colors that you can choose here, but some folks will typically use warm colors for lower grades such as F's and D's, so we might use reds and oranges in the F and D range, and then once we get into the A range, use cool colors, blues and greens. And then once you're done creating your grade scheme, you're going to go ahead and hit save. Now I haven't completed all of my ranges, so if I click save, the system is going to yell at us. Okay, and it's saying that we need to enter a symbol for that range and then a percentage for that range. Now, if I accidentally put in too many ranges, I can remove those and I don't have to fill them in, but I do have to delete them. So I'll just show you an example of that here. If I delete maybe 5 through 11, it is removing these ranges that I'm not using. Okay, so then we're going to go ahead and save our range, and it's going to take us back to the range. It's going to take us back to the schemes list. And from here you can notice that your default scheme is set to the system default scheme of percentage. If you want to change your default scheme to the letter grade scheme that you just created, all you need to do is click the little gray checkbox underneath set as default, and that now becomes our default grade scheme. Any grade item that you've created that uses the default grade scheme is now going to use the letter grade scheme instead of the percentage scheme. So this is a way for you to create your own schemes within the system. And you can repeat those steps as many times as you'd like to create as many grade schemes that might be necessary for your course.